Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The former WBC champion Deontay Wilder is set to return to the ring soon. An announcement on his upcoming opponent is going to be coming soon, according to his co-manager Shelly Finkel. So we'll cover that, a few thoughts on those comments, and two other things in this video. One, Deontay Wilder. He is looking trimmer than he was for his last fight against Tyson Fury, where he was stopped. And also, the potential opponent for next could be Robert Helenius, someone who is known to Wilder through sparring him. But Shelly Finkel's comments first. So he says of Deontay Wilder, who we've seen in social media posts pop up in Las Vegas in the past week, he says, spoke with him on Tuesday. He couldn't be happier. He's having a great time and he's getting more attention now than ever before. He's out in Vegas training and he's very happy. He's at the UFC gym training. We're not exactly sure where the next fight will be, but I would hope to have that in the next week or so. I think next week we'll probably have an agreement and then an announcement. The fight is expected to take place in the fall. That's some of the reporting here from Boxing Scene, noting Robert Helenius as an opponent. And Finkel was quizzed on that for his comments when he was talking to The Sun, saying, "There's nothing done." What happened on that, Frank, and he's alluding to Frank Warren, who'd spoken about Helenius publicly as an opponent for Wilder. Finkel says, "Frank and I are pretty close." And Frank said to me, "Are you looking at Helenius as one of the people, as one of the ones you're looking at, as I'm interested in him for Daniel Dubois?" I said, "Yeah, I'm interested in him for Deontay." Then all of a sudden he tells people that, and that's how that all started. At this moment, he's just one of several that we're looking at. Well, maybe he's being a little bit coy there, because you did also have, prior to Frank Warren's comments, the manager for Robert Helenius saying publicly that Helenius's next fight was going to be locked in and it was likely to be a pay-per-view event. And by process of elimination, and given that PBC has had options on Helenius after his couple of fights with PBC fighting Adam Kovnatsky in the past couple of years, it always looked like Helenius was a prime option for Wilder, and Frank Warren just sort of confirmed publicly what had been sort of going around and what boxing fans were talking about. So I do think that Helenius is certainly a front runner. But in terms of the comments there from Finkel, it's good to hear that Deontay Wilder's returning to the ring. Let's face it, the heavyweight division's been a bit slow. Sure, we've had a couple of fights sprinkled throughout 2022. Think of Fury White. You've had Dubois and Trevor Bryan. Usyk and Joshua coming up soon, August 20th. Parker Joyce, but it's been a little bit thin on the ground. Also, Bakoli Yoka. But apart from those, 5-6 fights, really hasn't been a lot on the platter for us to feast on. So Wilder coming back as a guy, no doubt, who will be looking to get a bit of redemption, get a win on the record, get a knockout, get that winning feeling back. And I know there had been some Deontay Wilder supporters who had been very vocal, saying Wilder is retiring, and every time you mention Deontay Wilder, no, he's not coming back, that's just speculation. Well, Finkel has confirmed it. Wilder is coming back, an announcement is coming soon, an opponent is being locked in. The heavyweight division needs him, and if you like him or if you don't like him, his personality or other antics or whatever, he is still an exciting fighter, and the heavyweight division would be poorer for his presence not being in it. And there's a number of fighters that fall into that category. But of the next thing, which is the photos that have emerged. So you can see here, left side of screen, I should say, Michael Hunter and Deontay Wilder. So he does look much slimmer than he was towards the end of last year when he fought Tyson Fury. And here is actually the weigh-in shot, Wilder 238 pounds. And you can also see here on the right of screen, Deontay Wilder, September 2021, when he was actively bulking up for that fight with Fury. Didn't want to be pushed around, wanted to be able to, give it back and hold his own, not let Tyson Fury maul him, all that sort of stuff. Was trying to be more aggressive, more physical, try to knock Tyson Fury out. Had some success, didn't work, but with these two different shots a year apart, Deontay Wilder certainly looks like he's coming down. What is he, 15, 20 pounds less? And it's not to say that he won't put a bit more muscle on ahead of his fight with whoever it ends up being, if it's Helenius or otherwise. But certainly this is a trimmed down version of Deontay Wilder. And before anyone says anything, no, the one on the left is not a doctored shot. No Photoshop. Yes, those are Deontay Wilder's legs. And actually, from the shot on the left to the right, it looks like some of that bulk has also come off Wilder's legs, so he can probably ill afford it. He has always had that light bulb type figure where he's big on top, big and bulky, chest, arms, torso, all that sort of stuff, and pretty much nothing downstairs. That remains... And this other one here, Robert Helenius with Wilder, September 2021. And you have Badu Jack, and this is in this past few days, where he's emerged in Las Vegas with Deontay Wilder, Badu Jack there. So he does look like he is not as bulky upstairs. So his best weight has always been somewhere around 220-ish. So if he was to come in and fight at around that weight, well, that would be pretty normal for him. What was abnormal was the 238 pounds for his last fight. It almost worked, but not quite. I don't expect him to come in anywhere near that bulky. And arguably, he gassed out quicker as a result of that. So, I think Deontay Wilder is probably in his best interest just to come in where he feels good at, rather than bulking up for the sake of bulking up. But I think somewhere around 220, 225 is pretty good based on previous performances for Wilder, where he can still be fast on his feet, come in and out quickly, and let that right hand go. So Robert Helenius, is he going to be the next guy? Certainly he seems to be the front runner. The name has been connected with Wilder for a number of months now. And I don't think that's a bad comeback opponent at all. And considering Robert Helenius, very highly rated in the WBA, that could be a path for Deontay Wilder. But also, Deontay Wilder is still the number one ranked contender in the WBC. So if he beats Helenius, it wouldn't surprise, or whoever is next to whoever's put in his path, it wouldn't surprise me if the WBC goes, well, actually, you're going to be the next mandatory challenger. That is, if Tyson Fury does, stay heavyweight champion and doesn't vacate. Remembering Fury is saying he's retired, but he's also unwilling to vacate that title, and he said, I'm going to take the full year. So as it stands, I think many people just assume Tyson Fury is weighing his options, seeing where a potential undisputed fight could happen, or I think he's looking for the biggest fights, for the biggest money, biggest opportunities. But I'm so too, I'm sure, Deontay Wilder. Shelly Finkel, his co-manager, has also spoken about Wilder would be great for the winner of Usyk Joshua, whoever wins that fight. Wilder is going to have a comeback fight if this is against Robert Helenius, try to win that, and then take the biggest and best fights available for the most money. And this will be another year where Deontay Wilder will have just one fight. Same for Anthony Joshua, same for Alexander Usyk, probably same for Tyson Fury, who already fought earlier this year. So it's been a bit of a thin time for heavyweight boxing fans, but I don't mind a Helenius fight. I don't think that's a bad shout at all for a comeback fight. It's at a certain level. They can still sell it, especially over the back of the 2 wins over Adam Kovnatski, and he has looked dangerous, and he's had a bit of a late career renaissance. But I do think Deontay Wilder probably would go in the favourite there. But as you can see, Robert Helenius and Deontay Wilder, pretty similar dimensions. So it's not going to be some sort of gimme for Deontay Wilder. They've got about the same height, the same reach, and Deontay Wilder can be hit, can be hurt, and Helenius is a dangerous puncher and also a decent boxer. He can also box on the back foot. But there is a template for Wilder that Tyson Fury has shown. If you can get up on his chest, be aggressive, and you can have some success, because Deontay Wilder not very good at fighting on the back foot. If it's not Robert Helenius, I'll be interested to know your thoughts on who you think it could be. But also, what do you make of this lighter version of Deontay Wilder? I know some people are going crazy about it, but he sort of just thinned back out to really sort of where he was before. So I'm not reading too much into it. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.